Hey, what's up, Mark? There's some other link. So I don't
Hey,
know if
what's up,
it's a
Matt?
different one or
Hmm. I just went to the one in school and jumped on the one that's in the calendar.
oh wait, let's see if I can hear you now. You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. I was looking at
Yeah.
inside of school, there's a different link than the one I sent Mike. So
I just jumped on the one. Yeah, you know what? I jumped on the one that's in the calendar. So I went to the calendar one and it has the event and I clicked on that one.
yeah, it ends. Oh, that's the one you clicked on. It's this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like ends in 770.
Uh, let's see. Hold on. Let me go on. Um, hmm. It doesn't show the full 7202 looks like.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think I'm in the right one.
Yeah, 7202 looks like it's the one that's in the on the calendar.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? I was looking at the one from the end of
I think.
last month.
Oh,
Yeah, so might did it make you put in a code?
nope.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Yeah, hopefully it's working. I expected more people, but dude, the last day of the month, the last business day of the quarter, it's been a fucking doozy, man. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to take a nap.
Yeah, we had a busy day yesterday, so
Yeah. What's
I'm
what's
I'm I'm getting off. So
you're about to end shift pretty soon?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Usually I'm on the slower truck, but I had to jump on the busier truck yesterday, and yeah, bunch of hikes and stuff we had to do.
Yeah. That's good for you, man. Stay moving and grooving. Sometimes I get stuck in this office and I'm like sitting down for 6 straight hours. I don't think it's good for the human body to stay stagnant for that long.
Who did the Kings draft?
In the first round, we took some guy who is a shooter, and my son's the guy that follows it way more than I do. Um,
Ah,
I guess my son likes him. He's pretty good. But then we made a trade to create some cap space and free up some money. So like we got some stuff cooking. I don't know what it is, but I know Monty has got some stuff cooking. So I'm excited about. I had a
I
realtor
was
partner. I was gonna say real
yeah.
quick. I had a realtor partner who's a big Lakers fan, and like Kings and Lakers are huge
Oh,
rivals. He sent me 3 deals in June. I said, I owe you something, man. Where do you want to go to dinner? He said, save the IOU for Kings Lakers. I said, all right, we're going.
is he still a fan after them drafting Bronny?
I guess so. I mean, and like I'm not a LeBron fan. I hate the Lakers because I'm a Sacramento guy, but I still can find the like, man, that's pretty cool in like first father son duo getting to play on the same
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
So I guess good for them for that, even though I still root against them. What's up, Troy? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good here. I'm working and listening on the pod on the Zoom meeting. So this is
Okay.
first time I've been introduced to you. Just wanted to check in and see what it's all about.
Sweet, man. I appreciate it. I'm an everyday dude who happens to, do mortgage brokering as a profession, and I real estate investor like a lot of people in this community. So I think it's been 3.5 years I've been showing up on Zuber's live stream and met a bunch of cool people. The Zoom we did last month was cool because like even Mike asked me yesterday, he's like, "What are you going to talk about?" I go, "I'm going to talk about whatever people want to talk about. Everyone's got different stuff going on. I know Dennis just joined. He's got like different plans. He's analyzing different markets in Tennessee, I believe, and so we'll take the conversation wherever it goes. It's just, you know, a guy who's got 15 or 1600 loans under his belt and, you know, has done enough mortgages to know what I'm doing. Hopefully helping fellow investors with whatever stuff they got going on, because we all got the same goal, trying to create financial freedom of some sort, or some sort of mental freedom. I had such a stressful month. I'm ready for fucking retirement like tomorrow.
Stressful as in doing a lot of deals, or stressful because just the market's been tough?
Yeah, a lot of deals. So, you know, it's a good problem to have. I think I ended up funding about 7 million in mortgages this month, which and that's just my California stuff. I've got team members who are helping close. I had a past client's kid buy in Arizona. I had somebody, I think from ORAT, do a deal in Georgia. So yeah, I've got stuff going on all over the country, but yeah, I mean, I should reframe that. I was blessed enough to have enough business to cause a lot of stress and heartache. I coach LOs too, and I tell them, if this job doesn't stress you out and like give you a bunch of angst, you don't care enough. Because that's why I know it affects me so much, because I care. Like, you know, this guy's buying a investment property in Sacramento and we're having issues on the loan and doesn't know if it's going to close on time or at all. Like, that stuff stresses me out because I care about everybody I do loans for, which is a good thing, I think.
Do you guys lend on creative deals?
It depends, you know, like I'm more conforming and conventional stuff than anything else. So it's like conventional FHA, VA, and then I do DSCR, I do bank statement stuff, but the super creative, like the 50-40-10, I had Steve Dow reach out to me yesterday. He's part of One Rental at a Time community. He's got like some really creative type stuff, which is something that we don't necessarily do. So I guess there are ways to use conventional financing or even non-QM financing in a creative way, but like the super creative stuff is not my lane.
Okay, yeah, I've talked to Steven. He's awesome.
He's the man. Yeah, I like him a lot.
So I was curious, as like, say if you were going in onto a multifamily project and you needed 100,000 down, and say the seller was going to be in second position on that and was willing to put the down payment on that, would that be something you guys could allow in terms of your lending practices for a commercial property?
No, because I mean, from a lender's perspective, you know, in a scenario like that where it's, you know, $500,000 deal, and you're asking like, would a lender be in first position at 400 with the, you know, 20% being essentially a seller carry for the down payment?
Yep,
the lenders
basically.
I work with, yeah, aren't really down with that, because ultimately it's like 100% combined loan to value between their loan and ours, and that's a little bit too risky. But you know, on Steve Dow's 50-40-10, there's got to be some tired landlords out there that are, you know, trying to get rid of a property. Yeah. You put 50 down. Steve Dow and Velocity have a first position 250, and then the seller can carry back 200. Something like that could really work. And I think yesterday he was telling me like that 50-40-10, they're like in the high 8s from a like.
Oh, then it's dropped, because last time I talked to him was in 10s.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was 899 or something, and you know,
which
so
would be a huge difference from
what
last I talked was 10-2-2.
Wow.
But yeah.
What market are you in, Troy?
I'm in Missouri. I'm in Kansas City.
Okay. And you're looking at what's, I guess, yeah, tell me about you, and we'll chat. And then I saw a question, Dennis. We'll talk all kinds of things.
So yeah, I'm looking into trying to get into some commercial properties, commercial residential in Kansas City. I got a duplex over there right now that we closed on back in January. Got it fully rented out now, and everything's moving along. Still trying to optimize the property here and there what we can to get it back up to good stable condition. But primarily my focus is trying to scale up, and my target is either you've got five plus to 5 to 20 unit properties what I'm looking to get it into. And so it's, if I can do it with a bank financing, that would be suitable. It just, in terms of the down payment, it's probably going to be from a private money lender or a capital partner of some sort that would partner with me on the project. And that's how that would go. So primarily what I'm just exploring is seeing what kind of rates I'd be looking at in terms, and do you guys actually do you lend in Missouri?
Yeah, we definitely lend in Missouri. But for like 5 unit plus, anything that's considered commercial,
Yep.
I'd find some sort of local bank or credit union. It's funny too, because I know we're a pretty large company. We're going to fund like $3 billion this year, and we got 300 loan officers across the country. Like, the fact that we have outlets for 5 to 24 doesn't mean we're the best outlet for 5 to 24 units. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, like sitting with commercial lender buddies of mine, like I wouldn't tell someone to come talk to us about a 5 to 24 unit, because there's a lot better terms out there. But just like high level, thinking about your kind of scenario, what you're looking to do, I think there's somebody somewhere who's a great capital partner to you that isn't going to put in the time, effort, energy, and all the stuff you are, but they've got money in the bank that's only earning 4%. And so, that's probably step one as you're analyzing the market and different stuff, is go out there and find a capital partner for, what's likely going to be 25 or 30% down on a lot of those commercial ones. If you happen to run into someone who's willing to do 50, 40, 10 and carry 40% of the deal, then great. Just not necessarily going to be all the properties, but like, I know for sure in commercial over the next 12 to 24 months, there's so much friggin' opportunity. I got a buddy who I actually used to coach with, like he coached me because he started as a flipper, then he was doing bigger real estate deals, and he's a really smart dude who I think he bought a few boutique hotels, ran them like, Airbnbs, and fucking crushed it, and then sold. He just bought something, I think in Oklahoma, and it was ridiculously cheap, like 15 cents a square foot retail center.
Wow.
That I think that the family originally had listed for $5 million. He ended up paying $950. Like 20% of what they were asking when they listed it 12 months ago. And so like, I see stuff like that, and even not being really a, commercial guy myself, I'm like, there's going to be I mean, I think he's already got like a couple anchor tenants, like Nationwide grocery store and a Starbucks, like committed to this place. And that's going to be an absolute friggin' home run. And
That's huge. Yeah.
Some of these markets too, like Missouri, if you live there and know the market, you probably had a lot easier job identifying some home runs.
I actually don't even live there. I live in Northwest Washington.
Oh, okay.
So I'm an out-of-state investor.
Okay.
It's tough here.
Oh yeah, trust me, bro. I'm in California, so it's same shit as
it is
Pacific Northwest where you're at. Like,
there's pockets here, but it's if you're on the I-5 corridor side of it, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. What drew you to Kansas City, Missouri?
It really kind of stemmed, from I was looking at out-of-state markets just because our market is, it's just so much more challenging. It's harder to manage, like in terms of being a landlord. but mainly I'm a huge Chiefs fan, have been since I was young. You know, it was one of those areas where we went to a game and visited, and I was like, oh, I should check out the market. So I started checking out the market, and I was like, wow, this is more intriguing. So then I started shopping more to see what they like, you know, values of the prices of the homes are going for and stuff like that. And you're talking like, I mean, there's a huge gentrification process going on in the corridor of Kansas City, where there's a ton of homes that are built in the early 1900s, and you have a ton of flippers going.
Yeah, right now it says he's
like
over in
flipping
flipping
the property.
So.
That might be
And,
you, Justin, with the background noise.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
But
Man, what a small world.
so
I've worked with Justin in the past. Cool, man. Well, yeah. Let me know as questions come up too, like with your search. I'm no expert. Oh, maybe that's okay. There we go. All right. I just wanted to blame it on you, Justin. Good to see you, brother. Cool. Well, yeah. Any questions you got? Anything that comes up, Troy, feel free to reach out to me. I should. I'll put it in the chat here. My cell phone number.
yeah, perfect.
And you can always text me. Like I treat text kind of like email now, because like people are like, oh, I'm on the East Coast and I don't want to text you too early or whatever. Like, you text me.
I mean, there might be some opportunities with smaller like duplexes and stuff like that I might be able to find that I could get into a very low value. So it might be something where it'd be suitable, where I'd be like checking to see what you could provide. But
yeah, and that's the thing too, is we lend in 48 states. It's just Massachusetts and New York are the only two we're not. And like, I feel like as an investor myself, one, I've got lending options on the wholesale side that are, great options for the financing, but I can look at it with you like an investor and talk through the deal. That's on a lot of flip deals, people that do it talk about how like the hard money lender is a great thing because they're not going to lend unless it's a great deal. Like, you come talk to me about a duplex deal you're looking to buy, I'm, going to, one, show you the financing options, but then two, talk you through like, does this make sense? Like if there just might be something you're missing or whatever, or it might be like, sweet, that's cool. Maybe I should invest in.
And that's perfect too, because, it gives me an opportunity where maybe I'm not seeing something that you're seeing in terms of the numbers, and that's super helpful.
Yeah.
So awesome. I appreciate it.
Cool. I got to go to Dennis next, because Dennis was here early and popped a question in here.
Sure.
What do you think makes lenders stand out from the crowd? What should we look for in a lender from an investor's point of view? That's a great question, Dennis. And I think that, like, I don't come across like a salesman, hopefully. Like when I'm at a real estate meetup or something like that, I'm a resource. But if I was in your shoes, Dennis, and, from what I know, you've identified a market, you're out there looking at deals, you're actively kind of educating yourself so that any future purchase you do is a good one. I would want a lender who, one, I'm a big believer in mortgage brokers. Like, we've got access to 40 or 50 different lenders, so I'm not captive to like, what are Movement Mortgages terms today? Or what are, American Pacific Mortgage? Like, I'm going to go out there and find you the best deal. It just so happens that, and this is something people don't necessarily know, lenders pricing not only changes every day, but different lenders based on capacity will like throttle their pricing up and down. So you'll see a lender that has phenomenal pricing. They get super busy. To slow down that flow so their operations don't explode, they will increase pricing. And so a broker like me who's got 8 or 10 different lenders he likes, price it through Arrive, which is the software we use, and it tells me like, you know what, 25% down investment property, AFR is a company that's like hungry for business. They've got operational capacity. They're asking for the business because they're priced. This last deal I sent, where it's a single family, 25% down, they were like 0.5% lower than any other lender. so much better priced that I called a couple people and I was like, is Arrive glitching? Is this pricing correct? But it just so happens that AFR is like aggressively trying to grow their business. And one of our former guys from U Mortgage actually is their CFO. So I could ask him like directly in person, like, man, you guys are fucking sharp on non-owner occ stuff. And so that's my not so short answer, Dennis, but you want somebody who's aligned with what you're trying to do. And so just like you wouldn't talk to a realtor who doesn't know anything about a neighborhood or real estate investing about real estate investing in that neighborhood, right? You want somebody who has access to things, but then also has some experience. And I generally speaking don't think I'm the smartest dude, but I've closed pert near like 2,000 loans. So I've learned a lot, right? Just by doing. So it's like real world experience has taught me something that like, no matter how smart somebody is and no matter how much they study, like they just don't have the experience of going through it. So speaking of great agents, what's up, Justin? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I didn't want to. I got in trouble the first time.
Yeah. Even though it wasn't you, I still was like,
I know.
Mute yourself, brother. But yeah, it's good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good. I was in another meeting and I was like, you know what? I don't want to sit through this.
Yeah. Last week we had bunch of fun, and I told Mike Zuber, like, I'm not going to prepare like this week we're going to talk about, DSCR loans. I just want to come talk to individual people about their deals. And like, if I'm sitting in a room and I'm learning about different types of, caveats to lending or something, I just want people to throw ideas, because then, in answering those questions, we're all going to learn to get better. Last week, people brought me some fucking doozies, some like 386 square foot lakefront property that's hanging off the foundation.
Okay.
Weird stuff like that. So yeah, if you have anything you're working on, I'm happy to, go do research or get back to you. But I guess what are you up to, man, since when was it we did a deal together? A year ago?
No, it sounds like I got an email a couple days ago to get a W-9 for the deal in South Carolina for Kaylin.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're doing that. And I don't think it's closed yet, but it should be soon. I've been out of commission for about a month with a infection, like a sinus infection that kicked my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. That's South Carolina. So you're my guy.
Well, do me a favor, dude, and text me that client that you referred's name, because I gotta.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure that we got somebody good on it. And
okay.
Generally speaking, I think most people at U Mortgage do a good job, but I'm on a big campaign right now. Like, so much stuff comes in from YouTube, one rental at a time, and with 300 loan officers across the country, I'm telling these people, like, if you're not bought in and like gonna serve people at the highest level possible, like, don't even call these leads, because I mean, whether it's one rental at a time or my YouTube channel, or even like a referral to me, the real estate market right now, a lot of people are like getting pre-approved, preparing this, like they're taking a year to buy. It's not like get pre-approved and buy. So like, you got to be in, you got to be willing to be in on that. And like, to Dennis's question about like what to look for in a lender, I don't know like how many thousands of Loom videos I've made, but like, I'm talking to tons of clients. Hey, here's like the one I sent yesterday. It's like a high balance loan. They're putting 5% down. I was like, here's a rate with little cost. Here's a rate if you can get, or if you want to buy it down a little bit and have $140 a month in savings, but it does cost you $6,000. And then here's option 3, which is get the seller to throw 20 grand at this thing at 1.1 million. Like, 20 grand isn't a crazy credit ask. And buy it down to the mid 6s. And so like, I'm just doing that 100 times a week.
Yeah.
And some of these people might not buy for 6 months, 12 months. Some won't even use me, but, that's who you want, Dennis, is someone who's willing to show you stuff so that you're making educated and good decisions about real estate. All right. Mark threw a shout out to Dennis. Dennis started a YouTube channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, what is the name of that YouTube channel, Dennis? Because I saw the video. He did like a walkthrough of his analysis of his local market, which I think is pretty cool because it's kind of like a lot of people, where do I start? What do I do? I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. And Dennis, you know, opened up the playbook on here's what I'm doing. All right, here's a question in the comments. Can you explain limitations lenders have when it comes to multiple houses on one lot, 2 or 3 homes on a double lot? I came across a property that's being sold as a double lot, 2 buildings. Someone mentioned that was a no-go. Great question, Dennis. And most lenders, unless it's non-QM type lender, like conventional conforming loans, they're not going to allow you to have 2 homes on one lot. There's rules depending on like, is it 1 APN? Is it 2? You know, because I've done it where the lender was okay with it. They just classified it as a duplex. But run that stuff by a lender you like and trust. A lender you like and trust so much that they're not telling you yes for the sake of yes. In desperate times, which when loan originators are down, you know, 80% in volume and they're, you know, clinging to the, you know, safety net and about to go broke, like they're going to tell people yes with the hopes of like, yeah, maybe I could put this thing together. That's worse than being told no. Is getting into it thinking you can get financing and you can't, which I could go off for 10 minutes and talk to you guys about the cost of a bad lender. You know what I want to share here too? I guess this is a good time to share it. Like when people are comparing lenders, I talked to somebody yesterday, this gal was going to talk to 8 different lenders, which it's cool if you're like, hey, I'm going to talk to my local credit union. I'm going to talk to Matt. He's a broker. He's got access to stuff. If you're doing the crazy exercise this gal was doing, talking to 8 lenders, and she's trying to like write down what information she's getting from a pricing perspective, you're ultimately going to find the most desperate lender or the biggest liar. Somebody who works for me showed me like what he does, and I think it's genius. He was like, tell me what rate you want. Tell me what rate you want. Any rate, just say it, right? And they're like, well, I'd love to have a 599. Okay, cool. And then in real time, 599, like just send them some. I can send you whatever the hell I want to, right? Doesn't mean that I can get it done, but if you're a lender who's desperate and who needs this business and you're willing to do kind of whatever it takes, you tell that person 599. After you're 2 weeks into the process and they've got the appraisal ordered, inspections done, and like they're kind of stuck to you and you've got them over a barrel. Oh, the 599 is actually 17,000 in costs. And, you know, well, you showed me something different. Oh, well, you know, that was only off the soft pull. When we did the hard pull, your credit score came back at 719. They can say whatever the hell they want, right? And like somebody like me who's got a reputation to protect would never do something like that, but it's unfortunately like more common than people would expect. And so like, you just got to be careful. You got like, you probably want to double check it and be like, you know what? I've got all my accounts with Chase, or I've used this local credit union. They're like really good. I've got my CDs there and my savings account. Like, yeah, look at that. Matt says it's about a 0.5 point at 699, one of my better priced lenders who I know can close in 3 weeks. And if you're like, okay, that sounds legit, right? I'm getting a pretty good deal. The truth of the matter is like, you're probably not going to see a 0.25% swing either way, no matter who you talk to. I won't pretend that like I'm going to be light years better than your bank or your credit union or somebody else you find. Like, that's just not how it works, right? Like, at the end of the day, everyone's selling to Fannie and Freddie, depending on the structure. Some companies are making 25 basis points, some are making 200. But like, being able to close the deal and being able to trust that the information you're getting is good information is important, and probably more important than ever. Oh, Tam, what's happening? Purchase a house in Houston, FHA, with the MTMG team. I'm almost positive, Tam, you used my buddy Connor, who's on a flight today back to his hometown in New Jersey. Now you're moving to Dallas, buying 2 to 4 with 5% conventional. This is a good question, Tam. What are the requirements? And the house is a rental now. Planning to live there a year as well. Okay, so you're moving into the fourplex. The first thing I'd say, Tam, and for anybody, like, when you're moving from a single family to a multi-unit, you've got to have a reason for it. I just talked to a realtor I work with in the Bay Area last night, and he's like, this lender on my listing is telling me that it doesn't matter that this guy's moving it down 4 doors and into a smaller house than his current one. It's a new primary. Like, if it makes sense, lenders like want to close loans. It just can't be something that makes no sense in the world. And so, like, they've got to buy what you're selling for the most part. I'll give you an example of what doesn't fly. Investor who lives in the Bay Area in a $1.9 million house tried to tell me that he was going to move into a fourplex in a ghetto part of Sacramento because he wanted to be close to the airport, because he flies a lot for his work. You're not going to go live in a 500 square foot, 1 bedroom, 1 bath as part of a fourplex in a ghetto part of town when you've got a 3,000 square foot, $1.8 million house in Mountain View. Like, that shit ain't going to fly, bro. And so your situation, Tam, it makes sense. What I will say about 5% down conventional, whether, no matter who it is, I asked United Wholesale Mortgage, who writes the most loans of every wholesale lender in the country, like, how much of these are you guys writing? And what do I, like, is there anything I need to know? Everything we do on the lending side starts with like an application, docs, credit pull, and we've got a file that you can run an automated approval system like Desktop Underwriter, which will look at everything. It looks at the loan to value, looks at your credit score, looks at your credit history, looks at everything, and then spits out like approve eligible. This loan will go. And that's like the first step for most lenders to say, yeah, like, it's going to work. And it can be to be determined, right? If you're getting pre-approved, and most lenders will run that DU to say you're pre-approved. It's not as cut and dry as, oh, your debt to income ratio is less than 50% on a conventional deal. Like, you're good. On those specifically, like 3 to 4 unit, 5% down conventional. Yes, that's a product available with, Fannie, but it's extremely, what's the right word? They're strict. Like, I know they need 6 months of reserves, like principal, interest, tax, and insurance. So it might be, $30,000 above your down payment they need to see in some account. It could be a retirement account, could be a savings account. But also, if your credit score is 694, that system might not give you an approve eligible at even like a 42% debt to income ratio or a 39. It's just looking at everything and being like, I don't know, 694. He's putting 5% down on a 4 unit. And so make sure you're dialed, which if you're doing something else in Texas, you'll be working with Connor. And so he'll make sure that you're dialed in. And then your follow-up question, have you done a lot of these? A lot, I wouldn't consider a lot, but we've done enough of them. And we've seen that too, so that our feedback is like, make sure you qualify. A lot of people, unfortunately, talk to a lender who's the lender's idea of a pre-approval is like, oh, hey, what's up, man? What'd you make on your W-2 last year? 88,000. All right, cool. And then you've got the single family. You're moving out of that. That's going to rent for 2,500. Let's take 75% of that. They'll do napkin math and be like 47 back end. Like you're going to be fine. Pre-approval. Like not the way to do it. Like everything in, run DU, have it spit out, at 550, approve eligible, have them actually like put in your assets. I've got stories galore about how lenders will just put in any information into DU. You're in SoCal, right, Justin? Like SoCal is famous for like, send us the DU findings. And I tell realtors, the DU findings are only as good as what you input into the system. And so lenders will be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put 37,000 in the savings account for TAM. Like literally I just fill it in. Right. And it's like,
It can be manipulated.
I put whatever answers I want that's going to give me an A on the test. And then I submit to the, teacher and we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, just, you're in good hands, Tam. So I'm not worried about you. Cause you got Connor on your side. Connor's the kid that I snagged from operations. He literally was like processing loan setup, knows loans really well. And now he's, helping me with Tennessee, Texas, Washington, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, 5 or 6 other states. What's up, Steven? Thanks for joining, my man. We're just Q&A. Whatever comes up, we'll talk about.
Yeah, I have been kind of quoted from the mortgage broker for the loan 215K. But he gave me essentially the spread. He gave me the list. It's not kind of like a number, right? He gives me like options, right? It's kind of like a list that is kind of sliding if I want to buy the points, if I don't want to buy the points, and things vary from 6.5 until 8.25. It's kind of like a price, principal and interest, and discount points. So this is kind of like what I have from 6.5 to 8.5. And I think it looked okay, but discount points from 6.5, it's like $5,000, around 5,200. And principal interest is $900, while this of 8% is pretty much not any discount, if I'm not mistaken, maybe just $1,000. So that was the thing that I was looking at. It sounded pretty fair to me since the last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether the situation changed, because even I got this, I was looking at the property and things, but I didn't make any move, because kind of it looks like they want you first that you are in the contract, and then they will kind of tell you, okay, I'm going to give you this much or this much. So it's kind of like it's not like a document. They're telling me they give me pre-approval letter.
Right. Yeah.
On
And
the-
that's, yeah, I have that conversation a lot, which is true. It's, you won't lock the loan until you're in contract.
Yes.
And the fact that it changes every day, it's, I like that idea of giving you a spread, like, because that's
Spread.
how all loans work is, conventional FHA, VA,
Yes.
like DSCR is like, there's a rate stack and
Yes.
those rates have a different price up
Yes.
and down that stack. And so for you, I think it's a good exercise to look at it and say,
Yes.
900 P&I, 6.5%, $5,000.
Yes.
Versus what kind of loan is it again? Is it
Conventional. I do only conventional.
okay?
It's
Yeah.
like I'm like in the average low grade student of Mike. So I don't do, I'm not the best students like this guy.
Well, yeah. No. I think you're like
Conventional,
me. You're
yeah.
like me. Keep it simple.
Yeah,
Conventional loan and
C plus, C.
I like your style. But yeah, what's the P&I at 8%? You said 8% was $1,000.
No, PNI, it was 900. No, sorry. 1058. 1000.
Okay.
1058.
And so, 900 P&I at 6.5. If
Yes.
you pay another $158, but you save $4,000 up
Uh,
front,
Yeah.
then what's that? 4,000 divided by 158 is like a 25-month break even. My personal opinion and like what I would give as advice is like, who knows what rates are going to do. And so if you locked in 6.5% and it's like a comfortable payment and the thing cash flows, like you might be in that loan for 10 years. The funny thing about refinance, which I think is even more important on rental property, it's not free. And so you don't necessarily want to like do it a lot. Like I've got clients who might not look at the long term and, so from a short term perspective, it's like, oh, I'll refinance a lot, which, as a mortgage broker who gets paid when people do refinance, I'm telling you, like the set it and forget it approach is, much better, where like looking out into the future, maybe it's 6.5%. You're like, I'm gonna be in this loan for at least 2 years. Cause I think on that small of a loan amount, you would have to get to 5.25 or 5% to have it make sense to refinance a $200,000 loan.
Yeah.
You're probably in it for 2 years plus. I'd probably say, while I'm doing this, let's put the extra $4,000, buy it to 6.5.
Matt, 200,000 is the price of the home. 210, 215.
Oh, okay.
Not loan.
Okay.
So this is even
25%
25%.
down.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a big loan amount. Like
Yeah.
the set it and forget it. It's a buy and hold. Just
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's my opinion on that, because, for refinance to make sense on investment property, that small of a loan amount, it would have to be probably a 1.5% in rate difference. And, so you're probably going to not refinance this thing until you get 8 years out, 10 years out, and it's worth a lot to where you're like, I want to do a cash out to 75%, deploy that money elsewhere, if that's the plan. But,
So another note, I have two vehicles, kind of two properties, but one is locked in very low rate, right? And this market of the second mortgages, is this existing?
Are you talking about a second mortgage on investment property?
Yes.
They're available. I don't know. I think I've got an outlet for it. I think it's probably like a 12 or 13% rate.
12.
And they're pretty conservative in, how much they're going to lend. It probably caps it, 70% loan to value or something. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's not a great product that's going to allow you to, if you got something that's worth 500 and you owe 300 on it, but they cap you at 70% loan to value, you can't really get too much of that out. So, I guess,
So
be happy to.
how people pull out the equity then? What do they do? I have 40% LTV to 200K property. So, from 40 to 70, I can go, but what is the current state of the,
Yeah, I guess for that, right? If you've got something that's worth 200, you only owe 80,000, and you're like, how do I get to the other 60? It would be something like that, where it's expensive, the money. So whatever you do with it's got to be a really great opportunity to justify, and some people say, hey, if I take this 60, I can go, get 30% return because this other deal is such a great deal. Or, they're in a building phase where they just want to add, the 12 or 13% money isn't terrible if, you pay it off in 2 years. But,
Oh,
you know,
but-
there, I guess thinking out loud, it's got to be a great opportunity, and it's got to be something that you have a plan to pay off, I think.
I see. So this second mortgage market is pretty much dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, on firsts, or I'm sorry, on primaries,
On primaries, probably is working, but not on
yeah,
the.
it's a lot better. But on the investment side, yeah, it's not as flexible as you'd like it to be with accessing that capital. I mean, so much so that I'm actually, I've got a property that I analyzed recently of mine, where it's a fourplex that I've got 350,000 in equity. And if it was easy to get that equity and deploy, I'd probably keep it. But because I have so much equity and like my return on equity is so low, I think I'm going to sell it. If anybody wants a fourplex in Marysville, the thing does pretty good numbers. Well, probably better numbers for me because I've got 3.125 interest rate. But yeah, I think I'm going to sell it, avoid taxes with most of it, with you know, buying a duplex that's closer to me. And then if there's any leftover boot that I got to pay taxes on, I'll get some of the money that way and pay capital gains on it.
I see. Good.
Cool. All right, Dennis, you said you got to give Connor another shot. Maybe this isn't the best forum for it, but maybe offline, give me some feedback if you talked to him, you weren't impressed, because he's a good guy, knows loans. Oh, can we take over your mortgage, pay you premium? You know what's funny, Justin, is I thought about, I think the realtor I'm using works with a ton of investors. She does a ton of business in the area. I'm going to tell her if somebody knows subject to really well, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Because honestly, like that's an asset. I owe 191 or 192.
Mhm.
And my PITI with tax and insurance all in, it's like $1,430 a month. And the 4 units rent for about 4,000. Some of them are at 1050 and some are at 950. So
What's it worth?
probably, I'm hoping I could get upwards of 5. I don't know. She was talking
Okay.
about listing it for 539. I think that might be a little bit
Yeah.
high.
And where is that, Matt?
Marysville, California. So it's about an hour from me in Sacramento. There's
Oh,
hospitals.
you are in the Kingdom Newman.
The what?
What's the governor? Newsom?
Oh,
King?
yeah. Don't remind me.
Nobody invests there.
Well, that's not true,
Nobody invests in kingdoms.
Yeah. Nobody's dumb enough but me.
me too.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, as much as, you know, California is not, you know, great from a, you know, tenant law perspective, I should knock on wood. The only issues I've had, I've got 4 single families with no issues. I've got a couple fourplexes. Both of those fourplexes, I think because of like the client demographic in Marysville, you know, some meth head, some working folks, little mix. Half of them stopped paying during COVID. Not because they didn't get income or because they couldn't pay, because they thought they would stop, because that sounds like a good thing to do in California. And I end up getting the state of California to reimburse me. Like they caught everybody up, and stupid because people who were on Social Security and got stimulus checks were making more, but still not paying rent. And then the state of California like, you wonder why we're fucking broke, like paid their rent for them too and caught them up. So, yeah, beautiful kingdom, right?
Oh, I live in the kingdom. I know, you know, it's great to escape from kingdom. Look at Zubeck. He moved to Vegas, somewhere there.
I got a lot of friends, Vegas, Arizona. They're moving all over.
Yeah, Wild West. You want to the Wild West?
Yep.
West.
We haven't heard from the young lady who's your name just shows up as iPhone, but You were laughing about California. Are you in California too?
No, I'm in Iowa. So
Oh,
you
okay.
guys,
Oh, Iowa's
I'm
awesome.
just, yeah, I'm just coming and learn. This is my first Zoom meeting with you
Oh.
guys on the school. So yeah, learning quite a bit.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Mhm.
joining. Are you looking at investments in Iowa? Or you got stuff in Iowa, or what's your plan?
Well, I'm very new to this, so I'm just learning some informations, loans, and I don't even know what to buy box. So I'm like learning a lot of information.
Awesome. Yeah, just with a fire hose. Well, welcome to the community. Why the thing I love the most, like we had an event out in Vegas and a couple hundred people from one rental at a time went out. Like everybody wants to help you. Mark is muted. But Mark's out in Hawaii and he's a great resource. He's got videos on YouTube and like those type of people make this community phenomenal because all these investors just like out here, on different journeys, but similar grind and aspirations. I guess even just different aspirations. Some people want the biggest portfolio ever. I'm actually leaning towards Dion's philosophy now, where like I want less properties and less headache, but just maximum freedom and cash flow. Because yeah, owning 100 doors sounds great, but it's quite stressful and a big headache, even when you have great property managers, I think. So I'm going to try to, and that's why I'm in the kingdom, Stephen, is because like with property values as high as they are, I was showing somebody like 2 fourplexes and 4 singles are worth 3.4 million. So at 6% appreciation, I just hold on to these things and, they continue to appreciate. And because of the terms I have on the mortgages, like this year, I'm going to have about 56,000 in debt pay down. And then it's like next year is 58,000 and like, it's cool to have a couple $100,000 a year between appreciation and debt pay down.
Living in the kingdom is a full-time job.
Oh yeah. I know. Trust me.
Right. That's not, if you.
I got all my headaches and all my clients' headaches in the kingdom. But yeah, I mean, it's like harder to like build massive amounts of net worth in Columbus, Ohio, even though I think that there's plenty of people I know that do that successfully as well. Like I've got Bay Area clients, investors that are able to go out to some of these markets and pick up 10 properties in Columbus, Ohio for the price of what they'd pay for one in the market that they live in. Yeah, we just put one into contract in San Jose Danville, the Bay Area, and it's like nothing special, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1680 square feet, and it's 1.75 million. Like, that's crazy. You could buy a lot of properties in other parts of the U.S. for a tenth of the price. All right, Troy said he had to run. What are we, 10:53? Does anybody have any questions? I put in here earlier my cell phone and my email. I don't generally share it online because I don't want everybody from across the world blowing me up. But if you guys have specific stuff you run across and want to run it by me, more than happy to. I think that a lot of times when you want mortgage specific info and you go online, you come out more confused than you went in. And I know it because I talk to people every day. They're like, oh, well, I actually heard that on this Burr project I'm doing, I can recoup all of what I paid for it, plus all the rehab costs. We had a pretty in-depth call with a partner of ours that's in the Carolinas. he's either North or South Carolina, but he operates in both buckets with like a lot of investors. And there is a possible way to do delayed financing. Pay 100, put 50K in rehab into a property, and then refinance it and pull the whole 150 out. But it's not as easy as people make it think online. Like you have to actually put that $50,000 into escrow when you buy the house. And I don't know many people that like have the means to be like, I'm going to pay cash 100. I'm going to put 50K into escrow, and it's going to be on a schedule to be released from escrow to a contractor. I already know what
Man,
the
look at
price is gonna
Raymond's
be.
picture.
That's
when you were 21, huh, Raymond?
All right, Tam, is that for us? He's running numbers in his buy box right now. He's reminiscing when Raymond was 21. All right. Yeah. I think I'm going to plan on doing this last Friday of every month. So, I'll probably keep it this format. If you guys, have stuff you want to run by me, you can call or text me. You can, oh man, Tam is multi-conferencing. I remember when I used to play a lot of poker, people would multi-table and play more than one table of poker at a time online. This guy's doing it with conferences, multi-table and conferences out here. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. I want to be a resource to you no matter where you're at or what you're up to. So last Friday of the month at 10 a.m. I'll be here. Every week I'll be talking to Zuber. I try to pop into the Facebook community and Zuber will tag me on that stuff. So yeah, if I can help, you guys let me know. Adios.
Later.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
Thanks, Matt.
brother.
Thanks.
See ya. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.